All right, we're live.
We are
All right,
live.
my
What's
name's
going on? Hey, how you
Go ahead, man. Go ahead and do the intro.
What's going on? Hey, how you doing, everybody? This is Mister Sapiosexual.
It's Mr. BheeYou.
And I'm AB.
All right, we got the lovely Miss Lyrical Paradigm visiting us today, and she's gonna come on and do her thing. What do y'all want to read her bio for?
Yeah, yeah. So we got Mrs. Paradigm lives in Orlando, New Orleans. She's been doing spoken word for like 15 years. She currently works as a teacher, um, and poetry is her thing. So we're gonna do a quick little interview with her today and see what her experiences are and learn from her. So welcome to the stage, the Lyrical Paradigm.
It was Mrs. Lyrical Paradigm and then the Lyrical Paradigm, and both things have tickled me thoroughly. I am tickled by
Hold on,
both of these.
hold on.
Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, I like her
Give me
energy
one
already.
second.
I ain't gonna lie.
All right, give me 1 second. Let me turn your phone sideways.
Me
Turn
turn
your
my
phone
phone sideways?
sideways. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
there we
there we
go.
go. Now we yeah.
Oh, y'all just wanted to see the wall behind me? Was that what was happening? You just trying to
Hey,
see my
hey, hey,
wall?
hey, yeah, I like that. I ain't mad at you.
Okay. Let's hope it stay up there. Hey, gentlemen.
How you doing?
How y'all doing?
You good? I'm good
Blessed.
over here. I
We
think we
good.
all
We
doing
good.
good today.
Honey, you gonna kick it off?
I said, blessed Queen. How you doing today?
I woke up. I did things. I was productive. I wrote a poem.
What?
I
Hey,
think I'm
what'd you
doing
call the
fine.
poem? What'd you call it?
You know what? So I really have this thing about naming poems because people are gonna call the poems whatever line they remember. So when you give poems titles, it kind of, to me personally, it's a little redundant because you're gonna give a poem a name and you're gonna say the name and be like, oh, this is my poem and it's titled such and so forth. But by the end of it, the people are only going to remember the line they really like, and that's what they're going to call it, no matter what the title is. So I just stopped giving poems titles
Okay. Oh shit. Oh yeah, she on some shit.
because that's usually how it works out.
And then how long did it take you to write it?
So it really depends. A poem is done when the poem says it's done.
Yeah.
So sometimes I could write a poem in a day and be like, oh, I love this from top to bottom. This is perfect. And sometimes it might take me weeks, sometimes months. I've been writing this one poem probably for about a month now, and I still haven't got into a space where I'm like, oh, I love this. This is perfect. Let me just leave it alone. So, and even poems that I like finish and memorize and practice and rehearse and do all of the, I'll still go back and change them. So the poem is only done when the poem says it's done.
Okay. All right. With that, what about freestyling? Do you do like just
So,
I'll just take like
so
how comfortable are you with doing that?
okay, so well, first I'm not a rapper, right?
Yeah,
So that's the
not
thing.
like I'm just like freestyling poetry.
In my mind, though, in my mind, I'm a battle rapper from New York. You know what I'm saying? I snatch chains, I slap babies, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like I'm battling good every Thursday. It's what it is. In my mind, I'm out here killing the game with bars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I freestyle for fun with my friends as a joke, but like I wouldn't be able to get on stage and make up a poem on the spot.
Because
I
you want to be
probably
prepared.
could, but I don't think I ever would. I would never try to find out.
Yeah. Because you want to be prepared. I get it.
I
What
like to
was,
be prepared.
yeah, what was your inspiration? Like to start all of
Um, to start like doing poetry.
Yes. What?
I was inspired by a lot of things actually. Um, my life is an inspiration. I went through a lot of things as a kid, like a lot of like no child should go through these things. These are very grown up things that children are going through because when you're born in the '80s, you live a certain type of lifestyle no matter what kind of household you come from.
Yes.
So I went through a lot as a kid, and I had poetry. Like a teacher in the second grade introduced me to poetry, and I did a talent show at school, and I got second place, and I won a trophy, and it was like super fun. It was the best time. And so that's when I really fell in love with like, oh, I could read poems, and people will like me. Like this is super cool. And so I would write poetry because it helped me stay sane in a really insane time in my childhood. Um, and then I guess I started doing spoken word when I got outside one day. My son and I were going to the movies, and they were having this show at the theater on 87th and the Dan Ryan in Chicago. And it was the Kings of Poetry. And I was like, what? They do like, I was like, people do, I'll do this outside? This is crazy. Like, I had only known like Deaf Poetry Jam and Brave New Voices. Like, that was a thing. And I'd be like, oh, I could do that. I totally want to do that. And then me and my son were at the show, and this event was going on, and we stopped and I watched and I fell in love right away. And so the next one they had the next month, I made sure that I went and like just jumped into the scene. Like, hey, my name is, I didn't even have a name then. You know what I'm saying? I was still just regular old Shannon. And so
Mm.
I was like, oh, I'm really interested in this. I write poetry. I didn't know then that there is a difference between writing poetry for reading and writing poetry for performing. And
Yes.
so I learned to write poetry for reading, right? That's what we learn in school. We write structured and formatted poetry.
Yes.
But for spoken word, it's very different. And it has a different context and it feels different to write. So
Yes.
I got to this space where I was like, yo, they doing spoken word? Oh, I want to be Sonny Patterson. What do you mean? I'm trying to be out here. I'm trying to get my Erica Badu on. You know what I'm saying?
I know that's
Black
right.
people
I ain't mad
do
at
this.
you.
So that's kind of where it happened. And then once I jumped in the singing, like some friends of mine kind of guided me and gave me some good pointers and some good tips because the writing was always sound, but the performing was not. I
Mm.
was not a performer.
Mm.
I didn't know I wasn't. I thought I was the hottest thing since sliced bread, but I wasn't.
Mm.
I was not. So performing is something that I had to learn, but writing the poetry, that came really easy.
Yeah. So all right. So you base your so when you start a poem, you base it off like your how you're feeling at the moment, pretty much. Like how you
No,
come
not
up with
always.
your topic. How you come up with topics. Like
Sometimes poetry is not something that you come up with. The poetry comes to you. You
okay,
don't you don't come to the poetry. It comes to you.
okay,
Um, you write what you feel. Now, what you want to talk about and what you feel might be two very different things.
yeah,
But writing expression in any way, whether you write poetry, you write songs, you write raps, you write autobiography. Writing is a feeling. It's not like, oh, I have this idea, I want to write about it. Can we do that? Of course we can. Because we're writers first, right? Before
yes,
poetry, we're writers. Do I do that? Not often. A lot of times a poem will start just off of this line popped into my head. Now I got to write it down. Now I'm going to run with it. Or somebody will say, like, oh, I have a writing group
yeah,
and we write prompts. And that's fun and that's promising. But if somebody was like, hey, I got this show about I don't know, Build-A-Bears, and I want you to write this Build-A-Bear poem, I wouldn't be able to do it.
That's
I don't care about Build-A-Bears. You know what I mean? I don't care about Build-A-Bears. So I wouldn't be able to just write that because so it comes and it goes, but also it's a process, right? A lot of times I'm just writing based on if a dope line pop into my head, I'm writing it down and I'm gonna see how many more lines I can write with it. And if it stops at 4, it stops at 4. And then maybe those 4 lines pop up a year from now in a whole different poem about something completely different. And these lines just happen to work. I'm good for the patch and the stitch.
Okay,
I will patch and stitch a
okay,
poem.
I
Oh
see.
yeah, I'll take this one over here and be like, oh, that's a good line. Let me use that. Oh, I'm good for that. Oh, I'm an
Oh yeah,
excellent patcher.
that fit perfect right there. Yeah. Okay, I see you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
It's very rare that it's like, oh, I have this poem I need to write. I'm gonna sit down and write it in completion in one sitting, at the same time.
Yeah.
It's few and far between.
I like that. Tanya.
Your mood is what comes up with your topics. What do you
Yeah.
life around? Or really, or does it, or it depends on just whatever line comes to you.
It kind of, I mean, when you're a neat type of poet where like this is your zhuzh, right? Like I write love poems. Like I write poems that are, um, don't get me wrong. I do have some like ratchet, like fuck you and your mama poems. But for the most part, I write poems that are like celebrating all the things that I love about what it is to be black, be a black woman, be a black person, be black in the world, be black in society, be black on earth. Um, and all of the magical things that come along with that, especially like black love and just black excellence
Black
and being
accent. Yeah.
who you
Black
are.
accent. Yeah.
That's
like that.
that's kind of what I stick to. Now, do I write other things? Sure. But again, it's few and far between, mainly because the things that I write for the public to consume, I try to make sure it's easy consumption. But there are things that I write for myself, like in my notebook that are for me that I'll never say out loud and no one will probably ever read. Those things could be a myriad of topics. It could be about any damn thing. I might write a poem about slapping babies or something. You never know.
Hey, shit get deep.
It do. It do. And I teach 4th grade, so like a slapping a baby poem might actually be the move.
What emotions do you experience when you're on stage?
On stage, oh God, all of them, all at one time, all of them at the same time, nothing at certain times, everything again, one thing at a time, individually and whole. Um, all the things. I've been doing this a long time and I still get really nervous. And so like I have this little leg shake, like my leg will start shaking and
Oh
or
shit.
you'll notice it if you watch videos of me performing and you start to see me rock a little bit, oh the nerves done kicked in. Um I have a tendency to put my hands in my pocket when I'm uncomfortable. So I do that a lot. It's a lot of emotions, but a lot of times it's just like not only are these people looking at me, but they're expecting something from me. They're expecting me to create something, a feeling inside of them, or some kind of, or notice that they're feeling this feeling like, oh, you know how people be like, I feel so seen. Like they're expecting for me to see them. And sometimes that's a lot of pressure. Sometimes it'd be like, bruh, I don't want to be seen, so I don't necessarily want to see you either.
Yeah.
So it just depends. But if I don't feel good, I don't perform. Like I make it one of those things that if I don't feel good emotionally, if I'm in a really shitty emotional space or I'm in a shitty head space, I'm not gonna perform because y'all don't. The people that come to see me, they don't deserve that. And also, I don't want to change how I feel about the poems. So if I do them shitty, I'm gonna feel shitty about them.
Right. So with that being said, with saying that, have you called off a show that you were already like ready to perform or that you were set up to perform? Plenty times. Oh, I see your face. Oh.
That face says it all, doesn't it? She like,
Like,
oh
nigga,
yes.
yeah, hey, yeah.
Listen,
This ain't
boundaries are
it.
boundaries. If I cross a boundary line and it's like, bro, this is not for me. One, this event or this event is not for me. No, I'm not gonna do it. No, I'll just say no. I'll just be like, no, thanks.
Mm, mm. And
I
is
appreciate it,
that
but no,
it?
thank you.
Tony, y'all.
We have to learn how to do that as artists.
Say that one more time. I didn't hear you.
We have to
No.
learn to do that as artists, to say no and to feel comfortable and confident in the no, right? It's like when people offer us space, often we will jump on it because we want the opportunity. We want to be seen, we want to be involved, we want the experience. So a lot of times we'll say yes to things we don't want to do because it's a good opportunity or it places itself well in the lineup of things like it or it looks good. We have to get used to as artists to be like, yeah, no, thanks, appreciate it, no
Yeah.
shade, but also no,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. I have no I don't go to churches, right? Like church is not my thing. I don't do churches. So out of respect for the church, I don't perform in churches. So if somebody is like, yo, I want you to come to my church and do this, no, I'm not gonna be able to do that. I will recommend to you a dope poet who would love to come to your church and be godly with you, but I won't be able to do that.
Yes. I agree. Yeah. So with your audience, how do you interact with the audience and eye contact and stuff like that? You try and get the feeling of them, or
I have a tendency to look at people really intensely.
okay,
Um, it's not even something that I can help. Okay, first of all, I don't know if y'all can see this, but when I smile with all my teeth.
yeah,
So,
me
so
too. I see.
that's number one. That's the first thing, right? Like I
Yeah,
have let you into my whole person. You can see every tooth in my mouth.
yeah,
So that's the first thing. I give people intentional eye contact. If you're looking at me, I'm going to make sure that I notice that you're looking at me by looking directly at, like I'm going to give you the contact to say, hey, I see you seeing me.
yeah,
I see you seeing me see you,
yeah,
right? Because when people want to show you they're listening, they look at you really hard.
yes,
So a lot of times it'll be a group of, I try to look at as many people as I can visually see. If
yeah,
the lights are too bright, sometimes I can't see very far, so I pretend like I can see them.
mm-hmm.
But I do give people really intense eye contact because the poetry that I write is for you. I write it, I perform it in a way that I want you to know I'm talking to you, right?
Yeah,
So that if this is for you, you grab it. And if it's not for you, you let it go past to the next person. But
yeah.
if it's for you,
The
you do it.
energy.
Yeah. So I give a lot of sometimes I do like a call and response thing. A lot of people, especially here in New Orleans, know a lot of the poems already, so they'll say them with me. So
Mm,
there's that. And I talk to people. I a lot of the poetry should be a conversation. So I try to make it as conversational as possible. And
yes,
then I point. You know what I'm saying? I use my hands, I point to people, I let people know that I'm here with them. But also I have a deep voice. Like when I do poems, I have a really deep performance voice. So the room will automatically be quiet when I start talking.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I like that. Yeah,
That's what's up.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I I seen some of your pieces, and that what made me really want to pick your brain and bring you onto the podcast. Yeah, I'm already a fan.
So it really is my absolute favorite thing in the world. Like, I love to teach because I love learning. So I really enjoy teaching, but poetry is definitely like my absolute favorite thing to do. If I die and do nothing but poetry, I have lived a full and complete life.
Mm. So you're a teacher as well.
Yes, I teach fourth grade. Oh, I teach third and fourth grade language arts.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay. I like that. Okay. And then, so with them, we're teaching them that. You're teaching them poetry and letter at the same time because it's literature.
Yes, actually.
Yes.
Sorry, my dog is in need of some attention.
Yeah,
So,
it's all good. I
the,
got a little dog over here
yeah,
too.
that's my homeboy. His name is Little Dog.
That's his name?
Yes, his
Oh.
name is Little Dog. Um, so I do teach some poetry. We have poetry is a unit that like a unit of curriculum that the school board assigns anyway.
Yeah.
So I get to teach them like standard textbook poetry, but then I also get to ingratiate what spoken word is, because they are very different. And I enjoy it because I get to teach them poetry even when poetry is not the curriculum.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Right? So everything they're learning is poetry based. I'm teaching them about, like right now, they're writing essays. But one of the things that we focus on when writing the essay is the use of creative and colorful language. And
Mm.
so that is the poetry of it, right? Like how can you? I will give children a line, all right? So like today was a sunny day. I'll give them this line and say, how many different ways can you write this line without using those words? And they'll be able to do it
Right.
5 or 6 times, 5 or 6 different ways with as much colorful language as possible. That is, it was a sunny day, right? But as poetry, because that will help them then when they're formulating their ideas and their opinions, it'll help them express those in a more and like a more poetic way, but also a more eloquent way because now they get to play with language a little bit. And that
Yes.
playing with the language is what helps them become better format writers. So I get to teach, they get to learn, and don't even know they're learning,
Yeah. And it's just
but they
having
love
fun
it.
with them. Yeah.
They love it. They love that I do spoken word. I tell it to them all the time. They love that they can find me on the internet. It's super crazy. They come to
Yeah.
school and be like, Miss Banana. Oh, the kids call me Miss Banana. So they come to school and they're like, oh, Miss
Hold up.
Banana,
How
please
was
got
that
the
name?
room.
Hold up. How did you come up with that?
So, so as a child, when my son was small, I have a grown adult child, and when he was little, um, we lived with a roommate of mine, and she called me Banana, and that was her nickname for me, Shannon Banana. And then when my son's friends would come over, they would go, "Is Miss Banana here?" And so everybody on their parents would be like, "Oh, I'm calling because my son Tyrone is at your house. Is this Miss Banana?" Right? And so it became a thing. So it was a neighborhood name for a little while. And then when I started teaching children creative writing, it kind of just stuck because do you know how hard it is for children to say paradigm?
Yeah.
Like
I
it's
probably can't even say
they
that
be
shit
like,
right
I
now.
don't paradigm. I'm everything except my name. So so when I introduce myself to the kids as Miss Banana, one, it grabs their attention. They want to pay attention because they want to know what is this crazy heifer gonna say,
Yeah.
right? Because what kind of name is that? And then it makes them feel comfortable. It's really like enclosing and comfortable for inclusive and comfortable for them because not only do they call me Miss Banana, but I call them by whatever nickname they have told me they're okay with me calling them or
You up
whatever
to something.
nickname I have
Yeah.
created for them.
You up to something.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
You up to
so
something.
it works out.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
works out.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, that's funny. You up to something.
You got to work with, you got to treat children as what they are. They're little adults, right? They're mini adults. And they're living this mini adult life where they only have to do these small, tiny, teeny, tiny miniature adult things.
Yeah.
They have many adult minds. So I it is my policy that I talk to children, I treat children exactly like what they are, because they're not babies. They're not still discovering the world, as you know what I'm saying, or they're well-rounded learning people with brains and opinions and attitudes, and you know what I'm saying, they go through stuff. It's like some of the stories these children tell me is like so sad, and it's like, bruh, these children know so much more than we did as kids, than I did as a kid anyway.
Yes. Yes.
So it's important that I treat them like they're people and not like they are, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm babysitting them. Like I'm not just taking on your mother's responsibility for 8 hours of the day.
Yeah. And you spending most of your time with them. So yeah. What is
They're
that
my
part?
little people. They're my favorite little people. And they did they had an open mic. So at the end of our unit for poetry, we had an open mic, and I made them go like do the whole shebang, right? They had to come in, put their name on the open mic list. They had to we had to go over the 3 open mic rules. I taught them what, like snapping. When the poet is done, we snap for the poet, we clap for the poet, we jiggle our keys, whatever it is. Um, we had like I sat them in a big round circle. Like it was a good time. And they really enjoyed it. And they impressed me so much with their poems. I was so proud of them.
You know
They did
why?
so
Because
well.
they had a good teacher.
For sure.
That's why. You know,
For sure.
like yo, you poured into them, and then they poured back to you. You know.
That's one of the rules of my classroom. So my classroom rules are respect the mic, feed me your energy, I'll feed it back, which
Exactly.
is a quote from Three Brothers in the Mic, which is a Chicago poetry crew. So that's one of their quotes. So I just take quotes from like these people that I've grown up with and learned poetry from, and I add it to my class. And it goes over better than like sit still, keep your voices at a level 0. Like if I ever say level 0 in my class, the kids know that somebody must be watching me or something, because I'm never gonna say that. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
like, respect my mic. It's 7
Hey,
p.m. Friday.
Be you. You see the name. All you gotta do is be you. You see it. Look at read it right there. It's right there. Yeah. All you gotta do is be you. Like embrace yourself. Like be your best person. That's it.
Yep,
It's
got to.
easy.
And
So
that's what makes the best teachers, right? Like that's what I remember from being in school was my favorite teachers were the ones who were like way outside the box. Like this must go against every school code in the book. Like these were the people that I looked up to. And so I try to take that into my classrooms too. Because these kids don't need another warden. You know what I mean? They need a support system, and I feel like the school don't set you up for support. It sets you up for failure.
with all right, talking about that. So you had a lot of problems working at the schools, or a lot of struggles, or
Not in New Orleans. New Orleans has been quite
so
tame.
it was smooth.
But in Chicago is hard. Chicago is a hard place to teach, not just because the school systems are trash, but because it's a dangerous place. And if you're not from there and you don't understand the dynamics of what it means to be a kid from the south side of Chicago and have to take public transportation to school and live on the wrong side of town because your mama can't afford to live nowhere else. Like if you don't come from that kind of environment, you're gonna have a hard time teaching those children because they go through a different life than everybody else. They don't they have a completely different struggle and a different mindset than everybody else. And if you're not prepared for that as a teacher, you're not gonna do well. And you're not going to get the respect and the things that you desire from your students because they're not going to trust you. They don't know
Because
you.
you don't relate to them.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. We putting
Yeah.
raisin in the potato salad, like where?
Yeah.
Has any of that ever have any of that ever inspired like any of your writing, like working with the kids and stuff like that, seeing how they grow up in their
Yeah,
environment and stuff? It does.
it does. It does. I write about my life story to give to them so that they can know that their lives, they're not the only ones who went through, shitty things in their life.
Right.
Right? Like you're not the only one struggling. And the best way for me to relate to you is to write these poems about my life and tell you how I experienced life so that you can see like, oh, that's similar to my experience. She gets it.
Right.
Right?
Right.
That opens up a conversation for children because now it's like, oh, Miss Banana understands. I'm gonna go talk to her when I have a problem because y'all don't know shit, and
Right.
I don't want to talk to y'all, and I don't want to have to, I don't want to have to waste my time explaining this. So I'm gonna go holler at Miss Banana because she's gonna get it. So I do, but I also take a lot of the things that I teach the children and write it in the poems that are not necessarily about the children or even for the children per se. Like we were working on writing paragraphs and we were working on like sentence parts and sentence structures and things like that. And so I wrote this poem that's actually a poem, like I guess kind of an erotic poem, not really, but kind of.
Mhm.
But it used all of the things that I taught the children the week before, like prepositions and metaphors and similes and like these very specific things. And so I wrote it in this poem that I can never read to the children. And then I can't get on stage and be like, oh yeah, the kids I teach inspired me to write this poem about smashing. So here you go. But they did. I was encouraged by what I was teaching them.
That's cool. I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. Hey, so with this new age of technology and everything, we got AI and stuff like that, right? How, do you feel like with writing poetry? I'm not a poet. I do like IT stuff. I'm a different type of artist.
That's poetry.
It is, in its own right. It is. It definitely is. It's a form of art that I build things for the most part. But with all this technology and stuff coming out with AI and everything like that, do you see like a positive or negative influence of how that trickles down to like your writing style? Or if you can use like some of this stuff, right? Do you try to reach out to get inspiration like from ChatGPT is like one of the biggest AI large language models or something like that? Maybe you type in a quote or something and it spits out a whole bunch of stuff that you could use. Is that something that you
Hey, you see her face?
Yeah, she like, oh hell.
Yes.
She like, oh no. Never.
I've been trying to control my face, but my face tells all my
my face
business.
is saying, oh, I feel you. Yeah.
Ew.
So that's a no.
That's enough.
I don't think that technology can give you a very specific soul like
Genuine.
part of what poetry is, right?
Okay.
Poetry is like, this is my soul telling you a story. And because I don't know how to speak, I can only say it with words, right? This is what my soul is telling me to tell you. I'm writing these things that my soul is saying. Chat GPT and like things like the AI thing, like it's really cool if you're writing a novel
Yeah.
Right.
or what I'm saying, an essay of some sort, or maybe a resume, maybe. But it's definitely not for poetry. And I would call anybody who uses AI to help them write poems a cheater because like choke on a bag of dicks, my boy. Why?
Woo.
Straight for the juggler.
Like I hate it. That is the worst thing you could ever do.
How
That
you
is
write
the
this
worst
poem?
thing
Oh,
you could ever
ChatGPT,
do.
help me out.
Oh my God, I throw up. I will go to your house and I will burn every notebook I see. I will set everyone on fire, and you'll never be able to write on another piece of paper again in your life because
God
ill. Who's this?
damn. Hey, don't play. I ain't gonna play with you. Hey.
I'm really quite nice until it gets weird, and that shit is weird. Like who would do that? I think that's a very lazy thing to do. As somebody who's like a professional poet and you're like really, really this is really your thing.
Mhm.
I think any poet that is like a real poet that you ask and like, hey, are you using Chat GPT or any AI technology? They are gonna say the same thing. Like ill, throw up, tomatoes, tomatoes. Nobody's no, no. You can't recreate what like you can recreate the words that I know. You could probably recreate the way that the way like the syntax of my language, and the way that I say words or enunciate. Like you could find some technology to emulate those things, but you could never emulate what I think and what I feel. And because of that, there would never be a technology that would be able to take what I think and what I feel and make it exactly the way I want it.
Yeah.
I like that. So poetry is not dying no time soon because we need actual, real poets.
If poetry died, hip hop would die, R&B would die, jazz would die, blues would die, rock and roll would die. Um, Short stories, fantasy, sci-fi, AI, all of that, it would die because poetry is the foundation for every single piece of literary anything that exists. It is based in poetry.
Yeah, I can agree with that
Yeah,
for sure.
poetry died, we all die. It's like bees and dandelions. If they die, we done.
Right, you had a question, Tom? You had a question?
Just even the word poetry and motion. Even motion itself can't be motion without that.
I like your voice. It's real deep. It's giving Bane. Like
He's a
I don't
poet.
know exactly what you
He's a
said.
poet. He's a poet. The
Not
one the
sure
hat.
exactly
He's a
what you
poet.
said, but it felt very Bane. Like I felt like you were giving me a synopsis of some really cool shit you had to do to survive as a young black man. And like I'm sorry. Ask me again.
That's her again. Hey, I don't know why. Hey, he always winning. Motherfucker.
It was so deep. It was like, oh God, I had to clutch my pearls. You see me close my shirt up a little bit?
Yeah.
Oh
So,
my goodness.
hey, Tonyo.
Yes, sir. What are your future goals as a spoken word poet?
Future goals. Let's see. I want to take over the world. I want to build a death laser and shoot it at the moon. I'm just, I'm just saying. um,
This might be our co-host.
We went from 0 to 100.
This might be our co-host. We're looking for a female co-host. This might be her.
take over the world just a little bit. World domination or whatever. No. So last week I performed at Right About Now Poetry, which is like one of the biggest platforms for poetry, for poets and poetry. Um, there is really it. It is one of those spaces that can definitely like toss you into being great and also being recognized for being great. So I definitely that was a goal that I finally got. If you are a poet, you write poetry, you do spoken word, like the goal is always to get on Right About Now. So I finally got my shot. Um, I did Right About Now. I really want to perform on some larger scale poetry events. Like I would love to do Voices in Power, which is something that I'm working on. I would like to do Masterpiece. Masterpiece is a poet from, I believe she's from Texas. She does a show called Flow, which is For the Love of Words. It's an international show. She's done it in Ghana, and a couple other places in Africa. I think she went to Barbados. I want to say Barbados or the Bahamas. She move around a lot. I definitely want to rock with her and what she has going on. Um, I'm looking to get my open mic back up and running in New Orleans. Hopefully in the beginning, like this upcoming new year. The Write, which is my writing group, it's the only weekly writing group in New Orleans. So I do that on Saturdays. Right now we're on hiatus because I'm looking for a forever home. So hopefully I'm back in January. So and then also I got a slam team, for the slam team, and so we're going to be kicking off the new year slamming, traveling around doing some slams. Um, I'm working on a book. I'm working on revising an old book and making it a new book, but pretending it's not the old book, even though it is the old book. It's just new book.
Oh yeah.
Nobody
So
else has.
so I have that coming in. I want to say March.
Like, I got a question.
Well,
Are you proud of your growth? You proud of yourself? Like
Oh,
that's one thing you have to do. Uh,
oh,
you gotta motivate yourself. You gotta be proud of you. You know, proud of the goals you took, even when some shit let you
Oh,
down,
shit.
like stuff like that. So, are you proud of yourself?
I am absolutely yes, 100%. I am definitely proud of myself. I've come a long way.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot. I've taught a lot. I've come a long way. I've cultivated a lot for the culture,
Hmm.
and like for the poetry community as a whole. I feel like I've dabbled in a little bit of all of the most important things in the culture. Um, and I've grown as an artist. I noticed that I write better, I perform better, and that's because I have iron, and the iron around me makes sure I stay sharp.
Yeah.
They hold me accountable. They stay on my ass. They make sure that the if the writing is whack, they be like, "Nah, G, that's garbage. Go back, try that again."
Yeah. That shit ain't
Like
it right
they
there. Yeah. All right.
yeah, no, that's not hidden. They definitely hold me accountable for growing. Have I grown? Yes, I'm super proud of where I came from, where I started. The very first really not so great poem that I ever wrote and performed and did it for like on stages for like months, just so I can get comfortable on stage to the type of things that I perform now, the caliber of the poetry, the caliber of the performance, and then just the growth in the subjects and the way that I feel about things. Like I can look back at the poetry I wrote 10 years ago and be like, "Oh, that was trash, but it was a good idea." And then see where I've come. And I can see the
And you said that word. You said growth. Growth.
Mhm.
That's a big word.
It's important to do that. If you're not growing, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So
She up to some shit.
if insanity is the goal, then yeah, go nuts. But I prefer to see past that. You know what I mean? Like um, the Orishas don't send you somewhere just so you can sit there and look,
Yeah. Mm.
right? Like here's the obstacle course. I'm not gonna send you to the obstacle course to look at the obstacles. Like no, nigga, go run,
Yeah.
right? Like go jump. What are you doing?
And that's
I
master. Yeah.
absolutely. I'm trying to get all 11,000 hours. Like I have my 11,000 hours, but I need 11,000 more because I'm still not where I want to be just yet.
And
Yeah.
that's what. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to be Talam AC when I grow up.
Oh shit.
I want to,
God
that's what I want to be when I grow up.
damn. All right. I ain't mad at you. Tonyo.
a question. Who are some of the artists that inspire you?
Um, I am inspired by a lot. So like Prince,
I see that nigga in the back. Yeah.
first and foremost, like number one, number two, number three, and number four. Um, You know, when they be like, who's your top 5 hip hop artists? Prince, 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 and Prince.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's Prince for me. Um, I am inspired by the writing of Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder is an excellent writer. Even though it just be songs to everybody else, the writing is so beautiful. The poems that he writes and then makes into songs is so beautiful. I love a poet named AI. I also am a huge fan of a poet named Amir Baraka. I really like Amiri Baraka. I really like Amiri Baraka. Gil Scott Heron for the win. But then also the people that inspire me are the people who grew up around me. So like Hood Raised, Geronimo, Momentum, Jason Williams, like Amin Rod, Just Words, Being I Me. All of these are Chicago poets who grew up with me, taught me things, taught me poetry, taught me spoken word, taught me performing. You know what I'm saying? The Sonny Pattersons of the world. Sonny Patterson is one of my favorite humans on earth. Like I'll slap a baby for her and mean it. And mean it. Um, I'm inspired by everyone I come in contact with. In one way or another. In
Yeah,
one way, everything that I write, I have stolen a little piece of something.
yeah.
I
You,
like to like just take a little niblet here and a niblet there and a niblet there, and then take it home and like wrap it in myself.
that's how I treat life. It's like, yo, if you're doing bad, I know what not to do. You're teaching me what not to do. If you're doing good,
Oh
you're
yeah,
teaching me what to do. And yeah,
absolutely,
exactly. Yeah, that's how I
absolutely.
live my life, actually.
You have to because if you don't, then you will lose sight of the difference between what to do and what not to do. And then you'll start
Exactly.
doing the what not to do, thinking that you're better at it than they were, and you're
Yeah,
gonna do something different, and you're not.
you up to some shit. I see it in your eyes. Yeah, you up to some shit.
I be reading sometimes.
Yeah. Tony,
But
I
By
rest
the
in
way,
peace.
this is a really dope platform that you guys have. Like,
and we just
I
started this shit,
also,
and like we can boom off, and then like I'm thinking, co-host type vibes, like, cause she's fire, and it's genuine, it's consistent, like it's easy, like it's easy,
Basically, he's saying you want to come back with it, then you more than welcome.
and then it expand
mhm.
it expand her platform, and then we shoot from there. Is
Yeah, I think what you guys are doing is really dope. Like I also kind of did a little leg work because when you guys reached out to me, you have to scan for the weirdos and the bots and the trolls and the creeps and the let me invite you to my podcast. Okay, sure. Dick pics. And be like, whoa, sir.
yeah, we didn't think you was coming on
Big
tonight.
time, big time out. But so I did do the legwork just to make sure that you were real people because I really hate to pass up good opportunity. And so after in doing the legwork, I was like, oh, this is legit. This is super dope. I like the idea. I like the premise that you guys are like building. I think it's a dope platform. I really hope that it continues to grow and it
Yeah.
continues to thrive. And please let me know how I can help. Look, this is my thing. I always tell people, let me know how I can help. Just let me know what I can do.
Oh
And
yeah.
then some people be like, here's how you can help. And I'll be like, oh shit. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we locked in though. We locked in. We locked in.
for sure. Let me know if you need some more poets, some more artists to come on and
We
interview
need
with.
all.
Like
No, we
I would
do.
love to listen
Tony,
with some
I'll let
really
her. Yeah, we
amazing
do. We need
artists
all
and
that.
more.
We need all that. And
Yeah,
you can join whenever. Like you can join whenever. We need
bet,
all of that.
bet.
Everything you just said. Yeah. We can.
Yeah, I definitely will help y'all like link with some other artists. Um I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people. Like, let me know what you need. I'm happy to help. I love to see Black brothers doing something positive for themselves and for their community. Like, that's really dope. I commend the three of you for that. Like, for real, for real. It takes a lot to say you want to do something and then actually do it.
Do
Like,
it. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
right. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this podcast, and then 7 months later, you still like, yeah, so I'm gonna do this podcast.
Nah, he called me like last week, and then he was like, "Yo, I want to do this podcast." And it was like, "All right, let's do it." And here we are. Good.
Come on, follow through.
Yeah. So, and you're available to hop on, when we ask you.
Yeah, please hit me up. Be like, hey, we finna jump on, pop in for a minute. And if I am free, which sometimes I am,
Yeah,
usually y'all
yeah.
call me on a good day. Usually I'm at slam practice with my team, but we
Okay.
didn't have practice today. So you caught me.
Okay. Yeah, hey, I fuck with that.
You gotta take it back. That's the same thing. All the people
I
there.
even took my hair out the
Yeah.
ponytail. I
Oh
was
shit,
gonna
I
come back
see
over
you.
here with the rough.
I see you. I see you.
Sound process? Yeah.
But as soon as I hang up, you better know this ponytail going back up.
Oh, you gonna just
Yeah, I gotta get ready for. I gotta work in the morning. We just got off a Thanksgiving break, so tomorrow is our first day back after break, and I know the children are like,
yeah. They on one
I
energy
know,
high, all that.
oh, the
Energy high.
crazy energy, and they finna come in here and try to hug me 180 times a day.
Oh yeah.
I got
Oh,
something for them though.
they missed you. Hmm.
Oh, I know, and I low key, I kind of miss them too, and I know they want to hear all about my adventures at right about now because I talked about it for like weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks with the children. Like, yo, I'm going to do this cool thing. Like, I'm so excited, and so they were excited for me. It's unfortunately that they won't be able to see it because I cussed a lot. I cussed a lot.
Like
Yeah, I cussed a whole lot.
little like bad mouthing. Yeah, little like bad
I
mouthing.
cussed a lot. But so they can't watch it. But I try to every once in a while if I do a poem that only has like one curse word in it and it's not an F bomb, I'll play it for them because I'll be like, yo, your mama call you worse. Stop playing with me. Let's let's not. And she say it in the New Orleans accent, so it probably hurt a little bit more
That
than if she
accent
just said it
thing.
in the
That accent.
Wisconsin accent. You know, you get cussed out in the New Orleans accent and it sting a little bit.
Yeah, that accent. Ooh. Whew.
So
Nothing butter on
I went down there for Mardi Gras. I'm like, God damn. Ooh. I love it though. Uh,
it's a fun time when it is, but when it ain't.
mm. Tonyo.
it. All right, Miss Lyrical. You gonna give us a poem or two, mama?
Hey, yeah. Let me hear a little,
I
Hey,
think you
this.
caught her off guard with that one. She was like, "What?"
Listen, this is why I asked about the freestyling earlier. Let me hear a little
I don't.
little freestyle, or even if it's not a freestyle, something you already wrote.
I don't think so.
All right, so
Oh,
something
but
you
you know
got
what?
already memorized.
No, look, I wrote it. Look, see,
Okay.
she always keep
She's
a
a
All right,
poet.
Miss
notebook.
She's
Banana. I see the bananas. Okay.
a poet. She got
Look,
something
I
ready.
wrote a poem the other day. A friend of mine gave me a prompt, called that said, "When did you fall in love with poetry?" And so I wrote a poem to this prompt. This "When did you fall in love with poetry?" prompt, and I was real excited about it. So if you insist on the poem, it's gonna be this one
I would
because
love.
I was unprepared.
We would love it.
All right, cool. So the prompt was I fell in love with poetry when. So this is what I wrote. It was today. Opened eyes with a yawn, stretched to shed yesterday and last night. Hands closer to God, breathed till spirit and lung filled. Breathing out felt like song. knees, soundtrack, and bass line, standing to ovation with ankles, more breath, passing reflection till eyes met her, danced away because shy frame size, she and I found familiar and opposite, her left to my right, right before
Mm,
my hands, encased hips, her hugs, and my grip, I saw her live. Maybe
mm,
she fell in love with poetry when I did, or maybe she just is.
mm,
And that's what I.
mm, 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 mm,
I like that.
mm, mm, mm.
It really is
That's
a
that
poem about me
stuff.
waking up in the morning and walking past the mirror.
I
Mm.
love it. I love
Tonell,
it.
you got it. It's on you.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
But if anybody would like to find more lyrical paradigm poetry, they can go to right about now on YouTube. They can look up lyrical paradigm on any social media platform. Or they can come to New Orleans and see me live whenever.
When is your oh, shoot. I think I need it.
Where can we see you live in New Orleans?
Yeah, so there's poetry almost every night in New Orleans. So on Tuesdays, we try to go to this place called Sweet Lorraine's, which is a historic jazz club. They do poetry there on Tuesdays. We're at a place called The Hideaway on Thursdays. The Right is usually on Saturdays. We're on hiatus until January, but we will be back first Saturday in January. Whoop, whoop. Um,
Whoop, whoop. Okay. Whoop, whoop.
we actually tomorrow I will have a poetry calendar. So every month I make a calendar of all of the New Orleans based poetry events for the month, for not just New Orleans but like surrounding. So Lafayette has a once a month event. They do a couple things in Gulfport and in Biloxi. So I add Gulfport and Biloxi to the calendar, but I create this calendar every month that has like all of the New Orleans poetry events so people know like what's going on and where. And I try to frequent as many as possible that are conducive to my schedule. So as long as it's not during school hours and it's not on a random Tuesday, Wednesday or Tuesday because I be asleep, I try to get outside and go as often as I can.
I like that word,
Um,
conducive. I like that. Okay.
just to keep the community flowing because when I first moved to New Orleans 3 years ago, there were two open mics, two poetry open mics, Puffin Poetry and Hidden Gems. And neither of those two open mics exist today. But they were like the catalyst for me really, really wanting to expand what poetry is in New Orleans. It's a small city, but poetry is big. And in New Orleans, in Chicago, there's poetry every night. In Atlanta, there's poetry every night. In San Diego, Philadelphia, New York, Wisconsin has poetry every night. Like, Wisconsin, no. We can't do better than that.
Yeah.
So I have been on on a movement to not just generate more poetry in the city, but also help other artists generate more poetry, like creating their own platforms and encouraging them to build their platforms and their spaces for poetry, and also like just bringing in bigger named platforms for us to perform on, like right about now. I'm trying to get a So Far Sounds to come down. I would love for Voices in Power to come down. Like, I would love for anybody who wants to be like produce a poetry show in New Orleans to hit me up and like
What's
let's make that
Absolutely.
happen because that is what the goal is to keep it. I would like poetry to be as big as jazz. Jazz is huge in New Orleans, and poetry should be just that big because it is the
yes.
art form that started all of it. So I think that poetry should be just as big as jazz in this city.
Yes.
I believe
Yeah,
it will be. And we're gonna help you
that's the
make all
goal.
your dreams. That's our goal here. So I I got a lot of friends down there in New Orleans and in Baton Rouge, so we definitely gonna get together and make something happen. Absolutely,
Good. Let me
absolutely.
Yeah,
know. I am always available. I
yeah.
support y'all movement. I like y'all. I like you and I want
Hey,
you.
so yeah, we'll be in contact with you. Tony, you got all her contact info. Share with me and Alfred, and then yeah, because her vibe is like co-host vibe.
Let's
It's
do
like
it.
everything. Like she can hop on every night. You know, I know she's busy, but like it's like if we need a woman, hey, let's talk to her. You know,
I be I'm available.
yeah, let's talk to her. You know, and I feel like this was great just now. This is great. Black, hey, what you say? Black excellence? Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. This is exactly what it was. So yeah, we could go from there. Tonyo, you can end it though.
All
Oh, don't
right,
jump.
man.
Don't.
We appreciate y'all having us. What's up, little man?
Right. He's an old guy. He don't see or hear too great, but he he's still kicking. He my old dude.
He's slow, but
And
he sure.
yeah, that's love.
And he got a new shirt. He was real excited today about his new shirt.
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob,
Yes, sir.
oh shit.
Yeah, he's that man. He's the man now with his SpongeBob shirt.
Lord. Yeah, we gotta keep this up, consistency, and then when we want to use you or when you want to join us, anytime, come on,
Yeah,
anytime,
Absolutely.
most definitely.
actually.
I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for having me and letting me spill my life story to you.
I love your life story. I love it. Yeah.
And tell all your friends where they can see you at because we're gonna post this on YouTube, and also it's gonna be on Spotify. What is it? Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Apple and Amazon Music. So the audio
Nice.
version of this, and I can send you all the links so you can have it on your platform.
Please do. I won't listen to mine because I hate the sound of my own voice, but I want to listen to all the other ones that you guys have done.
Oh, we got two before this one, so yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good,
We'll
good,
be in
good.
touch.
Stay tuned.
I definitely
Chloe,
will.
Ladies
Link up
Kate.
with me tomorrow. Let's get two more before New Year's.
Definitely.
Hey,
All
let's
right,
do
let's
it. Hey,
Definitely.
let's not this. Let's do
All
it.
right, bet.
That's fun.
That's bet.
And then I'll bring another female co-host on, or Tony will bring somebody, or Alfred bring somebody. We'll bring somebody, and because your energy is good, like it's good. So yeah,
Thanks. I appreciate it.
yeah,
I
yeah, it's
try.
good. Yeah. You're dope.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right, Tony.
And you are our first guest. So you know what I mean? Like you first lady
Oh,
right now.
She's special. She's special. Hey.
Yeah.
She's special.
uh,
She's special.
how my kids do it.
I don't know if you know her, but we're gonna
I
have
don't
Lady
know.
K
Maybe
on
throw it up.
December 4th,
Say it one
and
more time.
we're gonna have I don't know if you know her, but we're gonna have Lady K on December 4th, and we're gonna have Obi West come on the show too. So
Nice. Lady
we bring
K.
on Lady K. She's I think she's out of California.
Oh, okay.
And then Obi West too.
Obi West is a move. Obi West is you know how y'all was like, who's one of those people that inspire you? Obi
Yes,
fucking West,
definitely.
man.
He's gonna be with us.
Obi fucking West, man. Like, bruh. You know, I've never actually met him in person, but we know of each other. But I've never actually like met him in real life.
Oh, would you like to be a part of that?
Oh, next Sunday?
You
Next
said
Sunday
what,
I'm gonna be
John?
in
I'm sorry.
Kansas City.
All
Let
right,
me know
let's
what day.
We haven't set up a time with him yet, but he said lock in with me, so we definitely
All
gonna
right,
have him on
let
the
me
show.
keep me posted. Absolutely. As long as I don't have a show and I'm in town, 100%.
Yeah, I like that. She busy. God damn.
Absolutely.
Like, she busy.
Because rent still got to be paid, okay?
Hey,
All artists should not be starving.
Hey, yeah, I
Rent
feel
still got to
that.
be
I
paid.
respect that.
And if I don't have no money, how can I buy pot? Like,
Oh, yeah.
priorities, my boy. Priorities.
priorities.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Got to keep
Want
them
to
in
show you
order.
the time.
Honestly.
And
I
when we get into
appreciate
the
that.
studio, it won't always be virtual.
Just let me know when I can come back and I'll be back.
For sure. Definitely.
You got Tony Alexander's all her contact info. Well, you already got it, but yeah, let's share it.
She told you where to find.
Yeah, slide in my DMs or whatever. The
I'll hop
people
in
outside
DMs.
though.
Hold up. I'll hop in
He
DMs.
said, I'll hop in deals. Don't hop in those. Huh? Nah.
I'll do that.
Just slide in, see what happens, you know.
Oh,
Um,
shit. Hold up. All right. Yeah.
uh, just remember though, I am over 40, so sometimes it might take me an extra day or two to see it.
Okay. All right.
You know, I gotta pretend like I don't know how to work technology because that's what old age say you're supposed to do.
Oh, shit, man.
Be like, oh, I'm old, I don't know how to work this.
I can pretend to.
So now that I'm over 40, I'd be like, oh, I use that as my excuse for why I don't answer messages right away. Be like, oh, I sent you just message on Tuesday. Oh, baby, you know I'm over 40. You know it take me 3 days to see it.
Yeah. Baby, baby, listen. Baby, listen.
I ain't have my glasses on. I can't see nothing.
And then your glasses low. Yeah, I feel you.
Oh, goodness gracious.
All right, Tonio, you gotta end it.
All right, y'all. Y'all be blessed, man. I appreciate everything. I appreciate you coming. And till next time, y'all be blessed, man. Y'all be good, man. Everybody have a good night, y'all. Love and peace.
All right, love.
Nighty, nighty.